Barack Obama, had promised in his campaign that he would close Guantanamo, that he would ban torture without exception, that he would adhere to Geneva Convention, and that he would restore habeas rights to prisoners. Well, he was elected. So now, many of the human rights groups, people like myself as well and others, are trying to hold him accountable to his promises of closing Guantanamo. And just this week, his news had broke that his legal team is actually already gathering and discussing ways to try and close Guantanamo. But what's the problem? There's some problems here. The problem is some of the prisoners who they want to release, the United States say they won't release back to their home countries where they're citizens because of fear that because they were held in Guantanamo, that the countries of their home nationality would torture them or persecute them. Okay? A prime case of that are those who are from Western China. There are about a dozen and a half prisoners from Western China, from Xinjiang region, known as Uyghurs. Uyghur Muslims in Guantanamo often fight for their independence from the Communist government of China and are persecuted by the Chinese government along with the Tibetans. In Guantanamo, these Uyghur Muslims were never ever declared to be any type of enemy combatant by the U.S. government. But the U.S. government said, well, we can't send you back to China because we know what might happen to you. So what has been the solution? They've stayed in Guantanamo as prisoners. They've been innocent. So these are some of the problems. Senator Obama, now President-elect Obama, has perhaps been proposing the idea that he would bring some of the prisoners to the United States and put them on trial in the United States, scrapping the system that George Bush implemented. President George Bush implemented a system in Guantanamo to try prisoners, but it's not a fair system because it's a system that allows for evidence that has been gained through coercive techniques, right? Or hearsay, or secret evidence where the defendant can't see the evidence to defend himself from. Okay, these are things that would never be allowed in our civilian courts if one of us was to be put on trial by our own country for crimes. Hearsay evidence, secret evidence, evidence gained through torture would never be admissible. So Obama wants to scrap that system, that judicial system from George Bush. And the problem is there are some high-value, quote, Al-Qaeda suspects in Guantanamo. Names like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Ramzi bin Shibit, right? These are people that the United States says were the masterminds of 9/11. So they want to put them in trial. They want to convict them, of course. But what's happened? They were in CIA black sites before coming to Guantanamo. CIA black sites where they were waterboarded, maybe 100 times. Waterboarding is clearly torture. But over these past 8 years, the United States has tried to justify waterboarding as permissible. Right? But the problem is, if you put these individuals on trial who were subjected to this torturous treatment in these CIA black sites, any information or evidence you might have gotten from them could never be admissible in court. And therefore you might not be able to convict them. So this is the dilemma that the U.S. government is in. So they're trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. So there are some legal complications with Guantanamo, with the new president. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.